Hey, do you know why David Raya is on our screen? Not? Can anybody guess? Because tomorrow
Uh,
is Hari Raya lah. Walao eh.
and that's right. What
Oh.
a wonderful start to the podcast right there. Taffy has done it. So that's how we're gonna go. So welcome back to our Fantasy Football Kopi Kakis, your favorite
Pio, you enjoyed that, right?
FPL
Pio, you enjoyed
podcast.
that, right?
I just
Of
want my
course, of
duet
course.
raya, bro.
David
When are you
Raya.
giving me a duet raya?
David Raya.
We already sent it
Yes.
in the chat, using the official packet picture. It look very, very good.
Please give us, everybody.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes. So, like I said, welcome back where we blend hot takes with our hot kopi. Now, with me this blessed eve of Hari Raya or Eidul Fitri, we have Taffy and Pio chiming in with their ideas. Now, it's game week 30, and with the season heating up, we are diving into the best AI assisted picks and our own gut feel suggestions, and of course, the all important chip debate. Now, let's get into it, okay? And let's go with this immediately for the gurus here to start explaining. So, let's go.
Mm. Okay, so we tried to delay this podcast as long as possible because we wanted to have the FA Cup fixtures in. So far the results of the FA Cup has gone. Crystal Palace they beat Fulham 3-0, and Villa just also beat Preston, right, 3-0. Nottingham Forest edged out Brighton in the penalties. So these are some of the victories. So because of this, some of the double game weeks are expected. So these are not confirmed, but these are high probability. So, um, and these are especially important for those who are going to wildcard at wildcard 30. So your main players that you need to have is from Crystal Palace because they double game week in 32 and in 33. But those who are wildcarding in 30 and who do not have a free hit like me, be aware that they will blank in game week 34. So those teams that are blanking in game week 34 and those who do not have free hit, those who have already used their free hit in game week 29 like me, need to be aware of the teams that high possibility of blanking in game week 34. So that's that. So Crystal Palace is definitely there. You must have three Crystal Palace players. Later on, we can discuss who they are. Next in line is Newcastle. They will double game week in 32, but there is no expectations for them to blank in any game week. So they are a safe set of players to get, especially heading to game week 32. They have a good run of games, I think. And you must have, to me, I feel at least three Newcastle players. Who they are, again, is up for discussion. Villa just beat Preston North End and they are through. So they are definitely double game week 33, and but they will be blanking in 34. Again, those who are going to wildcard, be very wary of this, because if you're putting in too many Villa players, you will of course get the points in 33, but in 34 your team may look half missing lah, may
Pass.
go half missing. Nottingham Forest is a very unique situation, so I want the listeners to pay attention to this. They won their FA Cup game. Initially, it was expected that they will double game week, but Ben Crandlin has mentioned that because of how the fixtures are being run, it looks like Nottingham Forest, although despite that win in the FA Cup win, may not have any double game week. Um, that means that they will not blank in game week 34. So it depends on how you are going to play the game. Those of you who are banking on all double game week players may now decide to sell your Nottingham Forest players because they are not double game week. But for me, who do not have a free hit, I'm probably keeping them in my team so that my game week 34 is not blanked out with no players. Brighton lost, so they have no double game week and no blanks, so they are expected single game weeks all the way. Man City and Bournemouth are currently up soon, 11:30 game starting, and the winner of this will double game week in 33, but again blank in 34. So these are your fixtures that you need to look out for. Of course, there are other teams that are also having a double game week, like Arsenal. They do double game week 33 as well. And like Liverpool, they're all the way playing single game all the way. So these teams, you are somewhat safe having players in your team. Yep. So that's a quick, very probable summary of what is happening up to game week 34.
Thank
It
you,
looks like
Taffy.
he's
I think
concentrating.
thank you, Taffy. I think it's a very comprehensive.
Lecture by the professor of
Ha!
fantasy football.
I thought you guys fell
Uh,
asleep there for a while. It
It's,
was so silent.
that's why the
no,
coffee
no,
the coffee comes in handy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
no. I just mulling over certain questions. People like me, who may have the free hit still, right? And so because we
Mm.
didn't use our free hit, we may still have or rather, we may not have any Newcastle and Crystal Palace players in our team. So, would you suggest that we exercise our wildcard for this round, or
A
should?
very good question there, Pio. There's a big question whether to wildcard 30 or 31. Um, I'm wildcarding at 30 because my team is pretty crappy and I think needs quite a big overhaul. And prepping itself to bench boost at 33 and 34. So I'm
Mm,
really not waiting for final fixtures to be confirmed
mm,
and wait at 31, and then actually by the time that means it only comes into play at 32, so you may be missing out on good fixtures at 30 and 31. That's the drawback of doing your wildcard later. If you do your wildcard now,
mm,
um you have the fun, and I had 2 weeks of fun, basically, of switching players in and out. So I really enjoyed doing that wild card during this week. But as for Pio, you have not yet. Then you think you can hold on, then of course it's better to hold on to 31. By then we are hoping that the you know
mm,
the fixture list would be confirmed, so that you can have a better idea of who to pick.
mm.
But I would suggest you use some transfers to bring in some Crystal Palace for this week because they are meeting Southampton, and Crystal
Oh
Palace is
yes.
on a high.
Mm. True, true. Thanks. Maybe I'm just mulling over the strategy of playing my wildcard in 31 and playing my bench boost in 32 because of the Crystal Palace players, either
Mm.
32 or 33 lah for the bench boost. So that's what I would be aiming for.
Yeah, that would
Before,
be a good move that you do your wild card first and then
mm,
your bench boost. That means you got to ensure that your bench have good playing players. No, don't have the 3.9 uh, non-playing
mm,
defenders. Then you'll be wasting your so your wild card needs to take that into account and ensure that all players, even those on the bench, are double
mm,
gamers.
mm,
So that would be a very wise wild card and bench boost strategy.
mm. Thank you for your advice, Steffi. Mr. Fonzie, any
No,
advice?
no, no, no. I was just
Oh, he's
consuming.
just absorbing. You see how much
No, no, no,
Fonzie
no.
is absorbing. I think he's changing his
It's,
team at this point in time.
no,
Finally,
no, no,
maybe.
no. No, no. You said something about being high earlier, so I was just going into that. So anyway, looking at it, because on one hand, we want 11 players that play and do give
Mm.
points and doing the bench boost, but at the same time, if each game week they get 2 points each, there's still 4 points. So at the end of the day, it's not just about getting 11 players, it's about getting quality players that is still going to perform. It's I don't think it's enough just to have players that play. So game choices are important. So I mean, if we're looking at teams to kind of figure out which teams to bank on and which teams are having a good run of fixtures, right? You might want to consider Arsenal, that's actually having a nice run of games, going up against, let's see, Arsenal is going to go up against Fulham, followed by Everton, and then Brentford, and then they will do a double game week with Ipswich and likely Crystal Palace. So in other words, it's a nice run of games that you might want to consider. if you also consider Man U to not be a strong team, then there's many other teams that fall into this category as well. Because Man City is having a nice run as well. You have Leicester, Crystal Palace, um, Aston Villa, and the two strongest teams there being Everton and Man U. Yeah. So Newcastle, just now you mentioned Newcastle. So Newcastle, it'll be interesting because they are also only having Man U as their main threat, if you want to call it that these days. General, you have Brentford, Leicester, Crystal Palace. Oh yeah, Crystal Palace. That they are good. And then after that, you have Aston Villa. But just now you said you talk about Newcastle players. I don't even know what Newcastle player I'm going to put in other than Isak. Gordon's
Um,
out. You know, oh the Livramento. Uh,
Mm.
Very interesting
no.
names. Okay, so wait, hold on. So now this week we decided to try a new feature where we use AI to kind of suggest a theme. So let's see whether or not you want to listen to the advice of AI, or you think that we, or individually you have the secret sauce to kind of outscore the algorithms. Okay, so let's see. So this is what AI suggested. Okay, Selamat Hari Raya in goal.
Mm.
And then after that, let's look at this line. Do you agree with this?
Okay, firstly, shout out to all those people who did request for this AI team. So I had to pay for some subscription thingy to get
Mm,
this advice online and rated. Okay, so this team is basically rated. What did I say? Rated for that game week. Rated 99%. So it's very very high rating. Usually it's like 92, 93, and it's also rated for the next 3 game weeks as 97 or 98%. It is also predicted game week points of 72.7. Okay, with this set of players, so that's pretty high, I think, for this AI team.
Mhm.
And you can see the numbers there. You see like for Raya, right? 4.5, 4.9, 4.5. Those are the average scores predicted for the next 3 game weeks. Those are the predicted score that they will supposedly going to get lah for the next 3 game weeks. So this is the predicted team. So for Crystal Palace, you can see they have suggested Munoz, Ibrahim Assar, Mateta, who did play for the FA Cup, so he's fit. And then Newcastle, as Fauzan or Fonzie mentioned, you have Jacob Murphy
Mm.
um, as the cheap option rather than Anthony Gordon, um to fit in to make it 100 million. Of course you can fit in all the best, but this is an AI team that fits 100 million. And Isak, you have Burn. What is it, Dan Burn, is it? I don't know what's his, yeah, Dan Burn. So he's
Denver.
played for England and he's been like doing well. So
Mm.
um yeah, but he suggested that he goes into the bench for now lah. So you can see the Nottingham Forest players are there.
Mm.
um And if I were to follow this team exactly, it would make my game week 30 wildcard make a lot of sense, because I would have enough double game week players. I would have um, for 32, I would have both the Crystal Palace and Newcastle. That means I have 6 of them there. And then at 34, I also have enough double game week players to survive. And it depends on Man City or Bournemouth. So if Man City wins, they will double game week and blank at 34. If Bournemouth wins, they will double game week and blank at 34. So whoever who wins that one, it doesn't matter, because then I will have enough players on each side to give me the double game week points, and enough players on each side that when the blank double game week 4 comes along, I would have enough 11 quality, like what Fonzie say, quality players to get me through game week 34.
Looking
Point
looking
of
at
That's
this
uh,
the
list,
that's the AI team.
yeah.
point of caution. Word of caution to take note of is the Denburn is on 8 yellow cards. If he gets 2 more in the
Hmm.
next 2 game weeks, he may be suspended for the double gamer week that he's supposed to
Ah,
play for.
okay.
So
Then we can
yeah,
replace
that's
him
a
with
bit of a.
Livermento, right?
Can replace
That's a
any
very
of
good
the.
attacking option. Yeah.
Apparently, Trippier
Injan.
is making his comeback.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So,
Livramento is the other side. I think
mm,
Trippier on the left.
on the
Livramento is
right,
on the right
yeah,
because Lewis Hall is
on
is
left
out
here.
for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Mm, okay,
Was it
okay.
Trippier on the right? Trippier on the left.
Trippier on
Yeah,
the
one
right,
of those
then
are Trippier on the wing lah,
Livramento.
on the left. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's
I mean,
interesting
I'm.
because the AI team chose other than Salah and Raya, other than Liverpool and Arsenal, the rest of the team is all based on just four teams in the league:
Yeah.
Crystal Palace,
Yeah.
Bournemouth, Newcastle, and City. That's it. Their
Yeah.
Yeah.
starting 11.
Mm. I
The
mean, again,
the
that
al- the
there are
alternative is
variations
that
to this.
instead
Huh?
of yeah, there are variations like instead of Guardiola, you can put who's that from Arsenal?
Gabriel.
What's his name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Yes.
Mm.
So it's a $6, so it's a toss up. So or you can alternate. You can have Guardiola first, and then if they are out of the FA Cup, you can always switch Guardiola because the price range is the same. You can switch Guardiola to Gabriel.
Mm,
That works as well.
The
mm.
cheap option would be to keep Ed Nuri lah, if you have that one. Yeah. But if not, I think that would be the best defender options that I can see. I think
Yes, but the
another possible.
Ed Nuri,
Yeah.
when I tried to switch with Nico Williams, the
Mm,
percentage of the AI team is still as high.
mm,
So you can do that one-on-one switch. Nico
Mm.
Williams from Nottingham Forest, and
mm,
you can replace it with Ed Nuri, just like Jose Sa, also a single
yes.
game player, no double, but you can switch him with Areola from West Ham. So
Mm.
that could also be another option. The major ones that are not here is Cole Palmer is not around.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
the other one is Bruno Fernandes is also not around. So alternatively, you can remove
Wood.
Haaland and put
Wood's not around
he's
too.
not around because he's like semi-injured.
Yeah.
Um, and some may want to remove Haaland and put Mamush, but again, Mamush is not a guarantee. I think I've not seen
Yeah.
enough of him to. But that would save you, of course, half the money, and that may allow you to bring in um, Bruno Fernandes instead of Ilanga. So some alternatives that you can play around with, but the core of the team is generally there.
Mm. So now here's the news. Are you going to actually trust this AI team and then wildcard and then choose all of this, or are you going to do your own variations on this? I think this is a smart team, but all in all, I think we our choices are also quite similar to this. I mean, we have a few favorites and a few punts that we think are going to perform better than this. Like for example, we look at Kirkes, versus Gabriel versus Vardiol, that kind. For the midfield, we can still consider people like Izzy. And
Yeah,
then
easy.
defender, the other one is how do you pronounce that guy's name? The La
Lacroix.
this is you trying to speak French again. You can go local pronunciation Pachukang and go La Croix. Oh, but
La
no, your
Lacroix.
French is it
It's
La Croix?
Lacroix. It's Lacroix.
La Croix.
Lacroix.
You need a bit of
Lacroix.
phlegm there.
Christian Lacroix.
Lacroix.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
where
it.
the French is
Hmm.
it French? It should be French, right? This
Yeah.
French upbringing and heritage, the French stock in the Angolia genes might come through here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, lah, so these are what we're looking at. I think other than that, it looks like quite a solid team.
Yeah, there are
Alternative
some. Sorry, I
keepers,
just want to add one
mm,
last point. There are some that mention Evan Nielsen because he's cheap.
yeah,
There is also an option.
mm,
Actually, he was in my team before Mateta was confirmed fit. But then again, we might want to wait for the result of Man City and Bournemouth to see
mm,
whether Bournemouth double games.
mm.
Then it's a good punt to have Evan Nielsen if Bournemouth plays a double game week 33. Sorry,
Right.
Fonzie, just wanted to add that in.
I know. I just wanted to say, in terms of keepers, we have other options as well. We have Henderson and Pope. Henderson will have an extra game actually. Uh, if you have your what do you call that, your free hit, then you might want to consider him as keeper because he essentially will have multiple games. You have Southampton, Brighton. Then you have Man City, Newcastle, and then you have Bournemouth and Arsenal. So
Mm.
you have a higher percentage of games there.
Yeah,
Pope,
unfortunately, you can only have three players in the team, you see.
correct,
Mm.
lah,
Might well
correct,
put
correct, correct,
Anderson in also, just like Pope lah. It's also Newcastle, right? You know, I
correct.
put him in already.
Yeah. So if you want to consider Pope, that means you can consider a different midfielder rather than Jacob Murphy lah. So
Yeah.
again, it's down to you. So these are where we play around with our choices and see whether or not we can beat AI.
Mm.
Right? Anything else? Any other
AI
last
team.
tips that you have for
I'm
them?
just following the AI team, but I may not captain Mo Salah because they are playing against Everton, and I think Liverpool. Okay, yeah. So I may just captain Haaland instead.
Mm.
Yeah, and hopefully not regret that
I,
choice.
I think a good shout out for captaincy would be either Haaland, depending on tonight's game. He started the match along with Evanilson. Could be either Haaland or why not Mateta? Because Southampton are just not good at keeping clean sheets at all. Hmm.
There's another caution for Mateta as well, right? I cannot
Is
remember
there?
why, but there is something. I don't know whether it's an
Because
injury
he had
or card
27
status.
stitches in his ear lah.
Uh,
Mm.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
playing with a face mask, I think.
yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, that could be a consideration.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
if that's it, then that's it from us this week. Let's see whether or not we can be AI, you can be AI, and then we will see in the upcoming results. In the meantime, we wish you guys all the best, and for the people who are celebrating, Selamat Hari Raya. Happy Hari Raya to everybody who's celebrating, and for the rest, let's hope that you have a good time with your family members and friends.
Mm.
All right. So Taffy, you have your favorite words.
Yeah, don't forget the transfer deadline is midweek, okay, and not end of the week. Okay, don't be surprised. And yeah, and all the best. Try and beat the AI team. Or yeah, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. We really, really appreciate it. We have 50 whole subscribers up to this time. Let's see if we can make it to 52 by the end of this week. Yep, slow and steady, but do leave us your comments. Do support us, share and subscribe. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you,
Adios.
everyone.
Bye bye.